Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to do something a little bit different. What are we doing, Laura?
Today we are reading an article that we have been sent.
Yes.
By Forbes magazine, who I think are a reasonably reputable source of news, called the 30 Greatest Book Series of All Time. So bold claims.
Bold claims.
We are not here to yuck on anyone's yums.
Yums may be yucked upon.
Yums may be yucked
Incidentally.
upon. Yeah.
That is not our sole purpose.
No.
We're here to read this list and comment upon it with our opinions, which is why you're watching.
Yes.
I assume that if you're watching this, it's because you like us.
Yes.
Or like our opinions.
One would assume.
Fang is watching too.
If you're new to the channel, my name's Laura.
Hello, and I'm Ross.
And this is Fang. We predominantly talk about science fiction and fantasy. We are book readers, book lovers, we both write, and we are book sellers. We sell modern first editions. So we feel like we're reasonably well placed to cast our judgment upon this list.
Gavel us down.
So let's kick off, shall we?
Okay, right. Let's see. What have we got? Number 30.
Well, first of all, I want to ask, by what metric are they ranking this? Are we talking in terms of number of sales, or are we talking
if we scroll in, if we zoom in here, we see that it's done based on specific factors, including critical acclaim, commercial success, mass appeal,
and cultural
impact among readers of all ages over the years. Okay, so we're not limited to sci-fi and fantasy. We're not limited to adult fiction. It seems we're limited to nothing. That could be anything. In fact, it says book series. It doesn't even say it needs to be fiction. So there should be some interesting things come up on this. We'll see. With that in mind, shall we get underway and have a look at this list and see what there is?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, starting strong. Number 30, The Expanse series. Okay, I think this is a pretty good shout.
Yeah, I've not read it, but it's on my TBR. It's next on my TBR on the recommendation from our lovely friend Jake.
Yeah.
I think Mare is also reading it. If any of you follow Lady Mare Reads, if you don't, you should be.
Yeah.
Looking forward to reading this.
Yeah.
I am encouraged that it's on this list. I was already sold on it just from Jake's recommendation alone, but the fact that it's on this list. Yeah.
And we got 9 books. I think the 10th one might be just coming out.
Yeah.
So big series and written by 2 authors. Do you know that? James S. A. Corey is 2 people.
What?
Yeah. Daniel Abraham and Ty Frank. There you go. Says right here.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Should be on a list like this. And because it's long as well, it's been around for a while. So moving on, we got The Southern Reach. That's Annihilation, the film with Natalie Portman.
Sam Harrison just did a review video of this.
It's got a sci-fi cosmic horror.
Yeah.
And I'm also keen to read this. I think, it's got 3 books in it at the moment, I think. And there's a potential for a 4th, I've heard rumor around. So far, this list, I'm going to say 2 really good choices.
Yep.
High on the sci-fi.
Mistborn.
Here we go. All right, so
Mistborn is a solid shout.
Yeah, but it should definitely be on this list. The question is, Mistborn Era 1 or Era 2?
That's the question.
They haven't discriminated here. They just put Mistborn Trilogy.
Well, no. Sanderson tells the story of Vin, a young street thief. Okay. So that's Era 1.
Era 1. But I mean, I feel like if this writer has done their research, they probably should know that Mistborn has 7 books in it, and is that there's made of two eras here, and therefore perhaps should be a little bit higher up the list. I mean, in terms of impact of readers of fantasy,
by this writer's own metric, I would say it deserves to be higher on this list than number 28.
You ask so many book tubers or whatever what book got them into reading, and it's so often Mistborn.
I would credit it with getting me back into reading.
Important series. Oh gosh, 27. Question mark. I'm enjoying how on Forbes they've got they've got the word saga, and they're assuming that it's talking about a stock. That's quite fun. So okay, we didn't like Red Rising at all, but it is 6 books. It's got staying power.
27th best book series of all time.
Well, I mean, people love it. People love it. Better than Mistborn. I'm not sure about that. That's The ordering so far, not too impressed. I'm looking at it as well. We got Jasper Fforde next after Red Rising. I mean, like, Jasper Fforde, very well-known author, very accomplished author, but another one of my friends called Sam is a big fan of Jasper Fforde. So
is this D&D?
No, this is the third Sam.
This is a plea to parents everywhere to stop naming your sons Sam.
Going down to Bartimaeus Trilogy by Jonathan Stroud. I've seen these on the shelves. Not
more impactful than Mistborn.
Well, I don't know. They're very big for kids. Like there's kind of YA, and you know, have you not seen like the covers? You haven't heard of these?
Oh, I've heard of it.
Oh, okay.
I've not read it.
Dear good. Okay, well, first of all,
this is not even a complete series. I know that people out there love this series, and The Name of the Wind is a very good book. I have opinions about Wise Man's Fear that I'm not going to go into at length here because A, I don't want the internet to hate me, and B, we haven't got all day.
It's awful. No, it's a good book until you get to,
Need to talk about the
we can birdsong that spoiler. Article proofreading quality here. We got Patrick Rothfuss without the second S, and then we got Patrick Rothus there and Rothus there. And yet they still managed to spell Gavoth right. So I don't know what's going on there. Doesn't suggest a high amount of...
Was this published in Forbes magazine? Or is this...
Maybe on just on their website. I don't know.
Or is this like a Mumsnet type? Anyone can publish.
Anyone can publish on Forbes. Maybe. Okay, so number 23, we got Rhaeria Revelations, which I dislike just for the fact that Rhaeria is actually the correct pronunciation, but that is the spelling that they came up with, that Michael J. Sullivan came up with, bears no relationship to the pronunciation of the word Rhaeria, so it's really irritating. Anyway, but this is a very well-established series, lots of books. Michael J. Sullivan's been writing forever, so I think justifiably,
and that's fair enough. No, that's fair.
Fairly high up this list.
Yeah, fair enough.
I think the longevity in a series is probably what I'd look at as
people love this series.
Yeah,
it's fair.
I would say it's one of the key metrics. If you're ranking a series, it needs to have been around for a while and have quite a few books in it. Unlike King Killer Chronicle. Anyway. Like the Witcher Saga. Okay, so there's quite a few books in the Witcher Saga as well, which, I mean, if you look at its cultural impact, video games, Netflix.
I thought that the books were are the books not a novelization of the games?
No, the games were adaptations of the books.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're getting into problematic author territory. David Eddings, famous child. I'm not sure how I feel putting work by an author who has done such wrong things in a top listed series.
Well, does it negate the impact of his work? We're getting into dicey territory. Can you separate the art from the artist?
People who can, I am impressed. I can't do that.
I can't either.
No, I have no ability to do that. So if you enjoyed David Eddings' work in the Belgariad, and if it still means something to you, I don't want to take that away from you, but I can't do it. But apparently significant in the world. Hey, here we go. A non-problematic author.
Yeah.
Ursula K. Le Guin. In fact, I'd say she's the opposite of problematic. She is the most enlightened soul. One of my favorite authors of all time.
I would question why this is so low down the list. Why is this only number 20?
I think because the impact of A Wizard of Earthsea is outsized compared to the other 5 books. 5 books in the series? I think it's 6 total.
Okay, yeah, fair enough.
If you think of the other books in that series, none of them are particularly as well known as A Wizard of Earthsea. But they are. I'm glad to see it higher than Patrick Rothfuss, so that makes me happy.
We're really gunning for the Rothfuss fans today.
Sorry, Rothfuss. I mean, Rothfuss. Okay, what we got at number 19? Crazy Rich Asians. So this is the first non-fantasy, non-sci-fi book on this list?
Oh, of course. This isn't even just a fantasy sci-fi list.
No, lots of different
I completely forgot.
Yeah, but that's funny, isn't it? Like, fantasy and sci-fi is so, like, a long series that's such an intrinsic element, with fantasy / sci-fi being multiple books.
Yeah.
And you see book deals for fantasy and sci-fi authors tend to have multiple books written into the contract. Interesting, not all that surprising that we've had to get to number 19 before seeing a non-fantasy, non-sci-fi book.
Have you read this?
I was about to ask you. No, have you?
No.
Have you seen the film?
Also no.
Okay.
We're not very well placed to discuss this.
But the fact that we didn't know, I didn't know that it was a trilogy.
I didn't know it was a book.
Before, yeah.
I thought it was a TV show.
All right, Goosebumps. Now we're talking. Okay.
That is a good series.
R.L. Stine, 240 books. I think that gives you a pretty good kind of that's a legacy right there.
If I were compiling this list, I wouldn't necessarily think to include something like Goosebumps, but seeing it on the list, I have no beef with it being here.
Yeah.
I've got cat hair in my mouth, just bear with me.
Okay. I feel like authors like R.L. Stine, like Darren Shan, I feel like those authors were and still are instrumental in bringing horror and horror aesthetics and kind of the gothic aesthetic into the minds of young kids. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I think that we should learn from a young age to face the difficulties of this world and have a little darkness.
I wasn't allowed to watch Goosebumps as a kid.
Oh, really?
No.
We're on to number 17, The Dresden Files.
Have you read any Dresden?
No, I haven't.
I have. And I'm not going to lie, I did enjoy it. Mm-hmm. I did find certain aspects of it slightly annoying.
I've heard that they get better, or that Harry Dresden, is that his name?
Yeah.
Harry Dresden gets less misogynistic over time.
Yeah.
Which we like a character growth.
But I don't know if it was genuine character growth that Jim Butcher deliberately wrote in, or if it was a reaction to the fact that people were going, yo, Harry Dresden's a massive misogynist. What are you doing?
We like character growth, even if that character is the author.
True.
We like the author having character growth.
True.
So I think that's fair.
Also, I have nothing to base that assertion on apart from a hunch. I could be wrong.
How would you find what you read compared to our favourite, Rivers of London series? Like, it seems pretty similar kind of urban fantasy. Would you say that's kind of true?
It's a bit darker. Yeah.
Okay.
Harry Dresden is a more messed up character from memory. It's a long time since I read it.
Okay. He's one of those kind of dark cards.
Exactly.
He's
yeah.
You never
private investigator.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Does he have like an office with blinds?
Exactly, literally
and, on the door, on the glass door.
Literally.
That's kind of fun. I like that trope. I have no problems with Percy Jackson and the Olympians being in this list. Extremely popular, and I think a good alternative if your child is considering how much they want to read the Wizard book. What do you think?
Yeah, no, that's fair. I've not had that much exposure to it.
Yeah.
I think it was slightly after our time.
Yeah.
By 2005, we're going to show our age a bit here. We were in year 9 at secondary school. Mm-hmm. We were probably too old for it. But I've got no problem with Percy Jackson. As you say, it's a nice alternative to the Wizard book. The
Hardy Boys. Hey, there we go. Is this the point in the film where the name of the film? Yeah, there we go.
It's the book that is stealing all our SEO clicks.
Yes, that's right. Well, that and also Thomas Hardy.
Yeah. We should have thought of that before we named our business.
Well, no, but the Hardy's books gives us an air of authority because people associate the word Hardy with books, right? That was the big brain thinking. The Hardy Boys. Have you ever read a Hardy Boy book?
Nope.
Have you ever read a Famous Five book?
Yes.
Oh, very good.
I have read the Famous Five and the Secret Seven.
That's the similar kind of thing we're talking here.
Yeah. I enjoyed the Famous Five.
I wonder what made them pick the Hardy Boys and not Famous Five or
Secret Seven.
I keep wanting to say Magnificent Seven. That's not the same thing.
I feel like there are some problematic tropes in the Famous Five and the Secret Seven.
Oh no. Foundation series, Isaac Asimov. Mm-hmm. Well, this is another icon in the history of science fiction. I think this is deserving of its spot.
Yeah, agree.
And I'm glad to see these books getting in the hands of new readers. Yet to read it, but very much interested. Funnily enough, my dad was actually into Asimov.
Was he?
Yeah, he used to read quite a lot of Asimov.
I did not
He liked
know
I,
that.
Robot.
I've read iRobot.
You've read iRobot?
Yeah, it's very good.
I haven't read iRobot.
It's not at all like the film.
No. Well, staying in sci-fi and...
Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Okay, yes, pleased to see this.
I would argue it should be higher up the list than number 13.
You think so?
Yeah.
This is of all book series of all time. And bear in mind, Hitchhiker's Guide only has 5 books that are written by Douglas Adams. And do you know Owen Colfer did a 6th one?
Did he?
Yeah. And I have heard they were diminishing quality as he went along.
I don't care. It's still the cultural significance of the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy it's so impactful.
That's the BBC series.
What's the meaning of life? 42.
Yeah. Okay, fine. Yeah. No, I mean it's there in the noggin. Moving on, His Dark Materials.
Fine.
I tried reading it as an adult. Didn't get on with it. I think it was just kind of slightly too young for me. But I liked some of the concepts in it. I've heard, for people who read them as they're growing up, that they were very significant and that they really enjoyed them. And there was a stage show, TV drama. Basically, if something's been adapted, it's a pretty good sign that it's, has significance in the cultural zeitgeist. So
what is this?
that's the panel. Look, there's
Panel
Lin-Manuel
of
Miranda.
what? Panel of what?
Of people who are in the TV show.
Oh,
Actors.
I thought it was like a panel show of like... I don't know what I thought was going on
What was
here.
going on in your brain there?
I don't know. I was like, what is this? Like some sort of His Dark Materials quiz show?
Philip Pullman is the host.
Literally, I was like, where's Jimmy Carr coming from? Like, what's going on here? Yeah.
The Dark Tower at number 11.
No.
7 books, they sold well.
I don't care.
Laura, you should go make your own list.
Maybe I will.
Wheel of Time. This series is so monumental that it had to be finished by Brandon Sanderson, by a second author. Huge. I mean, if you think of epic fantasy as a genre, the first thing that probably comes to mind after Lord of the Rings is Wheel of Time. I think absolutely deserves its place in the top 10. Perhaps probably should be higher.
Definitely.
Yeah. I've only read 3 of them. I've heard the middle books are a bit kind of meandering.
Apparently there's a slump.
But to have written that many words, I think should place you quite high up on this list. Speaking of someone who's written a lot of words, Terry Pratchett, Discworld, 100%. It should be number 1, but I'll take a top 10. 41 books, just consistent in his humour and his wit throughout all of them. What an achievement, what a life, what a legacy.
To be the devil's advocate, although I would argue that the devil has enough advocates, generally speaking, the quality of Discworld it's not consistent.
People say this, and I don't disagree. I think that there are some books that are definitely not as high standard as others. However, I think what characterizes Discworld is that within every book, you will find the Pratchett wisdom, and you will find something that gives you the feeling that you're reading a Discworld book.
Yeah. Not all his books are brilliant, but they all have his brilliance.
There you go.
A very wise man said that. You, babe. That was you.
I said that. Okay, number 8, A Song of Ice and Fire, George R.R. Martin. You know what? I'm actually surprised, although I said earlier that this was going to be mostly sci-fi fantasy. I think this is to be more sci-fi fantasy than I expected.
Yeah, I mean, it's been majority, apart from Crazy Rich Asians.
And Hardy Boys as well.
Yeah, it's been, I think, all sci-fi fantasy.
Yeah, the cultural phenomenon that is A Song of Ice and Fire, the unfinished series.
Yeah.
Do 5 books, unfinishedness. I would say the unfinishedness should count against it being up in the top 10, but if you look at... Is it
ever going to be finished?
No. But if you...
This is it.
Apparently, he just did a blog post recently where he said that he was still working on Winds of Winter. I'm not sure about that, but anyway. Show us your words.
He's tied himself in knots.
Yeah.
He's tied himself in knots. He's written himself into a corner. He can't work out how to write himself out.
If I was ranking this list, I'd put it lower just on the basis that it is not finished and probably never will be. I think that... Again,
we're not here to yuck on anyone's yums. We love A Song of Ice and Fire.
No, it's right there.
Yeah.
It's there.
We love it.
Yeah.
But we're also realistic about the fact that it's probably never going to be finished. Sad face.
We got Outlander by Diana Gabaldon. I think it's Gabaldon.
What? It's number 6.
Hold on.
What the
We haven't discussed number 7 yet, Laura. Come on, let's discuss number 7 and forget that you saw number 6. Come on, there you go. We got this one to discuss first. This one here.
Yeah, Outlander's very good. Carry on. 50 Shades is the 6th best series of all time. It's just erotic Twilight fan fiction.
But look, okay, if you think of the cultural, Laura, think about how many mums it made horny. That means something.
They put this above Wheel of Time.
Okay, no, that is wrong. I will defend its inclusion on the list. I think that 50 Shades, if you look at the last 10 years, the last 20 years of books that moved the needle.
Greatest book series of all time.
Okay, yes, fine. When people talk about 50 Shades of Grey, they're kind of talking about the first one, and they're not really talking about the series. So maybe not on a list of series. But I don't know. I think that 50 Shades could be in the top 30.
It's not even good erotica.
Oh, have you read it?
No. I've read reviews of it.
To see if I should read it.
Yeah.
I'm really interested to know, like, do you think the person who wrote this list had like a spreadsheet and they were awarding points? Or do you think they kind of just went like, I don't know.
I think that they did this to get rage clicks.
You know what? That's actually a very good theory. Probably put a little bit of something a little bit kind of controversial in there to get people commenting. Looking pretty smart now, Forbes, aren't you? As we make a reaction video about your article. Yeah. Hunger Games. I actually quite like the Hunger Games.
Is it the fifth? I can't eat.
It's 3 books, so short and fairly simplistic. And conceptually, like it's, if you think about like the young adult genre, what's the first thing that comes to mind? Hunger Games.
I have no beef with Hunger Games.
And the young adult genre is huge.
Yeah.
So I think...
yeah, fine. In terms of YA...
Cool. And they're great books. And, you know, they're good films.
The big film franchise. Jennifer Lawrence.
We like her.
Does that say Twilight?
It does say Twilight. You've read this, right? You've read Twilight, right?
I have read Twilight. And I know that Twilight is
I'm kind of interested to read Twilight.
I've read the whole Twilight saga.
You recommend it for me?
No, because it's The first Twilight film came out in 2008. I'm 16. I am prime Twilight. You know, I am the target audience. So I get heavily into Twilight from like the get-go. I watched the first film, I need more. So I read the whole series and I am like the biggest Twilight fangirl. I am so heavily Team Jacob. I have posters of Taylor Lautner on the wall. I love Edward Cullen. I love, what's their name? Kristen Stewart. I'm into all of them. I've got them all on DVD when all the films have come out. I loved Twilight. And I am telling you, as someone who has been there and has been in that fan base, the Twilight Saga is a terrible book series. It's shit. And it is not, by any conceivable metric, the 4th greatest series of all time. Where are the Chronicles of Narnia?
Number 3.
All right, fine.
Look, don't knock Twilight. Look, we got 50 Shades out of it. Chronicles of Narnia, number 3.
Where was the Farseer trilogy or the Realm of the Elderlings?
Oh, well, we've still got 3 left.
Where was First Law?
We've still got 3 left. Look, we got Chronicles of Narnia, number 3. That's good. I mean, yeah, absolutely. Should be on the list. Great series, 7 books. Number 2, Lord of the Rings. I mean, it was always going to be on here. Not surprised as number 2. It is the book that made fantasy what it is today. So I think, yeah, good shout. Harry Potter, number 1.
Oh my God. Okay. Listen, if you're about to unsub because we don't love J.K. Rowling, this isn't an airport. You do not need to announce your departure.
So yeah, Harry Potter, unsurprisingly, is number 1. And in the kind of the discourse about Harry Potter, people always say like, oh, you know, you should have seen what it did to kids. Kids who were never interested in reading suddenly got interested in reading. And, people talk about it like it was like the cultural shift about reading. I think that maybe yes, for a single generation. I think people are still into Harry Potter, but I don't think that outside of our generation that the impact of Harry Potter is significant enough to put it at the number 1 point. And that's a slightly controversial, spicy opinion. I kind of get a bit sick of people going like, oh, but Harry Potter is, it would change the world of reading. I can see why they put it at number 1, but I'm just tired of it being number 1 on lists like these. I mean, looking at this list, I think we kind of discussed there are some big omissions. Okay, there is, I mean, you talk about Farseer, like that's 14 books, right? Or something like that.
That is a complete series.
And they are exquisitely written.
Yeah.
Immensely detailed, an epic fantasy if ever there was one.
Yeah.
Should be on this list.
Yeah.
I think Sarah J. Maas should be on this list. Where's Sarah J. Maas?
I don't like romantasy. I've not read A Court of
Thorns and Roses.
Thorns and Roses, but the cultural significance of it can't be denied. It should be on this list.
It really should be on this list. I mean, it's silly that it's not. At the end of the day, though, this is one article, okay? And yes, it is published on Forbes magazine. It is a very prestigious outfit.
30 greatest book series of all time.
I just don't think it's a very well written, very, very well researched article.
It's also very Anglo-centric.
It's very Anglo-centric.
Like, these have all been English language books.
Yeah.
Every single one.
Yeah. Like, where is all the manga?
Yeah.
That should be there. I mean, think of those. They're massive series. Like Naruto is like hundreds and hundreds of series. In conclusion, Laura, this isn't a very good article.
It's trash.
If you had to put together your top 5 series, we should maybe do that. Should we do a video?
Yeah.
Why don't we talk about our top 5 series as an antidote to this? So come back, subscribe, like and subscribe, because in a future video we're going to talk about our favorite series.
Yes, agree.
And perhaps we could also,
I think you can probably, if you followed us for any length of time, you can probably predict at least a few.
Like and subscribe. Thank you for all your support recently. We love you all. Thank you.
Our next video, we are going to be in Edinburgh at Chimera Fest.
Very exciting.
So if you are in the Edinburgh area and you're also at Chimera Fest and you see us, please come and say hi. We would love to meet you. If you're thinking, oh, that means they're not going to be at home, I can come and burgle all their lovely expensive books. No, you can't, because my dad is staying to look after the cat and he is a South London boy and he will mess you up.
Yeah. Now that we've established our hard muscle, follow us on Instagram or else at Hardy's Books. Go and buy a book or else hardysbooks.co.uk. And join us on the next video.
Bye.
Bye.